Yeah, I mean, congrats to Virginia. That was one heck of a game. They're a very balanced team, and they did a great job on the board. I thought that third quarter they really started, taking it to us on the glass. And we don't get out-rebounded very often, so it's something that we'll definitely, go back, work on, and fix moving forward. But I will say this. We struggled from, shooting, that 24% in that first quarter and that second quarter, but our defense kept us in the game. And, as a coach, that's really encouraging when your team is still playing so hard, and it is so hard to score on the offensive end, and all they did is they locked in, and we had at one point, I think, 7 stops in a row defensively. So I'm super proud of their effort, as far as that first half, and they continue to give themselves a chance late in that game. And you're not always going to shoot it. Every night's not going to, the ball's not always going to bounce your way, but even with as hard as it was, I thought there was that point in the third quarter where Snoop just put her head down and she was like, follow me. Like, I am going to try. And I thought she tried to will us, and everybody was happy to follow along. And that's what you want, right? Like, you want your seniors to, take over for your team and kind of try and will you to win. And that's what I love. That you talk about a team that's like, they're just going to find a way. They've been able to withstand runs in several games, and they don't get too high and they don't get too low. And all they do is continue to give themselves a chance to win games against really great teams. And so, we'll go back. We're going to continue to get better and stick with the process. And this one obviously hurts. You want to be able to protect your home court. But I know that there's a lot of lessons that we'll learn from this experience.
Questions, and if you're new, please say your name and outlet for coach. We'll start with Rob.
Do you see that there's a change in the way games are being officiated, where the officials think they're in the NBA?
What was that, the Marshawn Lynch that says, I think I might want to plead the fifth on that one, Rod. Here's the thing, is what we always talk about. As coaches and players, our job is to adjust to how the officials are calling it. And sometimes games are called differently in the first half than they are in the second half. And so that's what you got to do. You've got to adjust. Like, that to me is just part of the gamemanship of the game. And, that's what you have to do.
Jason McDonald, Core 360 Sports. Okay, so down the stretch there, Coach, you got the turnover you wanted. You got the possession you wanted.
Yeah.
And just couldn't get it over the threshold there. What do you do? Because you can't, that's not something you practice. It's just something that just has to happen.
Yeah.
So what do you tell your team how to bounce back from that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we just talked about. Sometimes when you're at the end of the game like this, you're in special situations, and there's things that you work on, when you come into this game, and things that we've been practicing. But as any good coach, you have to adjust to how they're defending certain things. And we just had a little mistiming on that last play, and I know we'll get it fixed. That's the beauty of film, is we'll come in and we'll watch it, and we'll learn from the timing of it. That's the one thing with this group, is they've been phenomenal. When they see something on film, they're able to carry it over onto the court. And so when you have a group that's that coachable, I know that we'll be okay. But again, I'm able to draw up a lot of things on the fly, and they're able to execute it. And, there's not always, I've coached a lot of teams that's not always the case. But this group is really in tune to that. And so they've been a lot of joy to coach, and we'll get better. It's just like me. Again, I'm still a first-year head coach, and there's things that I'm learning and experiences, that every game that I get better at, and so do they. So together we're growing and getting better.
Do you feel that Virginia did a great job of scouting your offense, especially with Turnage and Walker? I think Turnage was limited to 3 assists, and of course they really managed to really stop Walker every time she drove down the lane.
I mean, Virginia has a fantastic length. I mean, if you look at that post core that she's able to bring in, and and I know they were even missing Smith. I mean, but you just talk about the length that they have. I mean, number 7, 12 and 8, and a lot of things they were able to switch. And so a lot of times when our guards were trying to turn the corner, they were going against 6'4", and so that is a tough matchup, and that's why at one point, kind of coming out in the second half, we tried to open things up a little bit and create some more driving lanes for ourselves. But yeah, I mean, kudos to them. They did. They had a really good game plan, and their length definitely affected us in the paint, because that's one area that we've been able to be really consistent, is get a lot of paint points, and it was impactful today.
Coach, I know you don't want to go back down this road, but to have this type of shooting and still be right there to win the ball game, is that how do you reconcile that?
Yeah, I mean, the takeaways for us is like, all right, did we hold their best player to under her average? And we did, right? Like, this is what, game planning is you don't want to allow them to do what they want to do, and then on the flip side, and that's what I said. So we struggled to score. We still found a way to get to the foul line 26 times, right? We still ended up coming up with 11 steals. So for me, that's what's encouraging, is like, we're finding different ways to win. And so if we keep doing that every single game, is like, all right, maybe our shooting's not great, but we know we can still rely on this. And that's why I said we've been able to rely on our defense and our rebounding let us down today. But I'm like, it's okay. Sometimes that's good. We'll get locked into that. We'll bring back that discipline piece and get better. But to me, I'm like, that's a sign of a good team. When you're able to find different ways, and they're able to withstand these runs, and all they do is at the end of the game, they just keep putting themselves in opportunities to tie it or to win it. I mean, I love that. I love that for us, especially this early in January. I know that we'll continue to get better.
Is your rotation still a work in progress? You look at, Foster struggled a little bit in the beginning. That sort of limited her minutes, and then I think your 2 centers only combined for 2 rebounds. And you probably are looking for more production there, I would imagine.
Yeah, our bench has been super productive for us, all year long. And, we put Lanaya into the starting lineup. And the thing I love about Lanaya is she just brings so much hustle and heart. And, she did. Today was an off day for her. But normally she's the first player to the floor. Right, and she's the first one to sacrifice her body for her teammates, and so she had an off night, but I know she'll bounce back. That's the one thing I know about Lanaya, and I think Kat had a moment there where she started to get heated up, and and we know we can rely on Kat's defense. If you talk about somebody that's able to be disruptive on the other team, and Jada's coming along, and I think that's a really big piece. You see Jada, I mean, her athleticism, I think her ability to get on the glass is going to be big for us as we move forward, but. Even I thought Deasia today. Deasia came in and gave us some good minutes, and that's what I was kind of looking for her to step up in that area. But we just got to hit shots. Point blank, our guards, they kind of had drop coverage. We had some open looks from the perimeter, and we've got to step up and knock those down with confidence.
And I just wanted to say, Coach, that was an important point, that your bench, you got scoring all up and down the lineup.
Yeah.
So how important is that? We're in January.
Yeah.
So we still have a couple of more months before we even consider what the tournament looks like. Getting better than this, if this is the worst you play, what's the ceiling on that?
Yeah, for me, it's the rebounding. We've done a really good job of we will make them take the shots that we want them to make, but then we're not securing the rebound to finish the play. And so the more we can box out, and not give up long rebounds, or, you have a short shot and then it bounces and it's like those 50-50 balls that end up on the perimeter. And part of that is when we don't secure those rebounds, obviously it gives them more opportunities, but then we're also not allowed to get out and run. And so that's the piece of that. We've got to be able to get those rebounds and then transition out into offense. Because the thing we've done really well these last 3 games is we've been able to create offense from our defense. And so, but now we've still got to be able to just finish those plays, the regular plays. When the shot clock's winding down, we got to secure the rebound. But so I tell you, I know we'll go back, we'll watch this film, a lot to learn from it. But I trust and believe in them, and that we'll continue to be who we are, and our identity, hangs on our defense and our rebounding.
Denise Tennell, Core 360. Did you see any growth in any of your players tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think every single time we're stepping out right now, you're seeing growth in him. Like, the fun part now as a coach is you're starting to see the confidence grow. And you know, like, Talea didn't shoot it as well as she has been, but I don't think she can just keep, you know, landing 30 burgers every single game either. But what she's learning is, you know, people are going to start to guard her differently. And so that's going to, you know, not only impact her, but impact us as a team. Is how can we still find a way to generate, you know, good shots for her and for the rest of the team. But that's what I told you. I'm like, everybody is contributing, and that's what it's going to take. Like, in order to be successful in this ACC, you're going to have some depth. You're going to have to go 7, 8 deep, and that's where I'm looking for now is who else off the bench is going to step up? Is it Jada that I know that I can rely on consistently? You know, is that going to be Savannah? Is it going to be Deasia? Like, I'm looking for those guys to step up. Like, Kat's been pretty consistent for us, you know, all year long. But, yeah, we're looking for that consistency, which is the hardest part.
With Walker, I imagine you want her to keep taking it to the hole, knowing that in most cases she'll get the call. And tonight looked like it was just one of those nights where she would get fouled, ball would roll around the rim and come out. You know, prior to that this season, those shots were dropping. So I imagine you just have to chalk that up to, you know, one of those nights.
Yeah, I mean, if you play this game long enough, it's going to happen, right? Every night can't be your night. But again, like I said, she still found a way to get to the free throw line 12 times, and then that second half, she hit some huge threes. You know, and then I'm more proud of the fact is it didn't impact her defense. There's a lot of time you see with players is when the ball doesn't go in, then you don't play defense, then you have missed assignments, and she didn't do that. And to me, that's a sign of an elite level player. Is all right, ball's not going in, but I'm still gonna, you know, take shots, and you know, I'm still gonna rebound, and I'm gonna be able to create for my teammates, and she'll do it. You know, that's what I'm saying. Talea's, there'll be a period of adjustment. You know, it's a good problem to have when teams start game planning for you. That's it's a level of respect, and she'll be fine. But I've been talking to her about trying to shoot it 20 times, so I'm not upset one bit that Talea Walker shot 23 shots for Georgia Tech today. I mean, she has earned that right, and what you guys are seeing before your eyes is you're seeing an all-conference player develop, and her confidence continues to grow, and she's taken that responsibility. You know, there's a lot of people that want to be shot takers, and then there's people that want to be shot makers and want the big shot, and I know that Talea wants those big shots for us.
One last question.
Coach Janice Tennell, Core 360. What's your message to the players about bouncing back after tonight's game?
Yeah, you know, it's what I told them was, you know, we hang our hat on our defense and our rebounding, and our defense was good enough today. We executed the game plan, and our rebounding wasn't. But again, they still gave themselves a chance. And that's what I said is, like, there was 1,000 reasons that they could have quit, right? When things got hard or it gets to, you know, a 3-possession game, and they don't. Like, and that's, you know, that to me is what's most encouraging is they just keep putting their head down. They trust the work. They trust the process. They trust each other. And they just continue to find a way to make plays to be in the game in the end. And that's what you want. When you get to that, you know, that fourth quarter when things feel tough, but you're still there. You just hang around. You just hang around. And you just hang around. And that's what they've continued to do. And so my job as a coach is, you know, I've got to help them, you know, get them through the finish line. And like I said, I've got areas I've got to get better and I've got to grow. And we're all doing this together and we're trusting the process. And I know we'll get better.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.